Welcome, everybody. G'day, everybody. It's Alan Andrews here, the founder of Zoocoins and Zoocaz. This is It's Zutime. This is where my time's your time. And I tell you what a thrill to be back in action. 2025. This is season 4, episode 1, simply entitled Zutopia. Hard to believe I'm still around to see you guys, but firstly, want to throw a big thank you out there to everybody, family, friends, supporters, our loyal Zoocoin holders. Back in October, I decided that, not me actually, but had one of those little glitches in life. A widow make a heart attack, and 17 minutes away from not being here. So I sent out the word to everybody, men and women, make sure you get the big ticker checkup. Wouldn't have had a clue that I had that coming around the corner, but thrilled to be back in action, up and about. Get a little bit tired every now and again this time of the day, I got to say, especially with all those tablets they're pumping into me. But I just cannot be more thrilled to be here today. So today's episode really is not going back over too much other than focusing on Zutopia, looking at what's happened for the last 59 days since we went a soft launch back on 9th of December. I'm pretty excited to have been around for that, I've got to tell you. And carry through that 59 days as a soft launch, see where we're at, see where we're going, and get everybody excited. There's been a lot going on in the world in the crypto space over the last many months. It's been an extraordinary time, really. So without further ado, I thought today, given that this is our first one, I'm going to put on now the great man, I call him the great man, Riley Redford. Just hold one tick. We'll lock him in. And about to introduce Riley.
Hello, everyone.
Now, not many people know we have this secret weapon that's hiding behind the scenes in the organisation. But I'll get a bit of a background on Riley and his significant role that he's playing with Zutopia, everybody. And the good news is that had I keeled over, there's quite a good support group out there behind the scenes and staff, and where we're sitting, this team can continue on with the mission and the objectives that I've stated for many years. But so Riley, just let everybody know when you came on board and what your role is in the organisation.
Yeah, so I came over to Zoocaz back in the day. It was March 2020, so just before COVID hit was when I signed my contract. So COVID hit sort of just after I'd started. And I've been on board as the CFO and managing quite a few of the entities we've got. And more recently, as of September last year, I took on the role of project management at Zutopia when that opportunity came up. So it's been a few years with the team, and it's been great.
And Riley, there's a lot of little cogs in the big wheel that sort of pull all this together, isn't there? I mean, it's you've got workload that you're dealing with the developers, you've got the load there with the designers, you've got the testers, you've got support. I know you're working night shifts now, which is fantastic because of the international trade.
Yeah.
Certainly then we've got our a guy that really we tip our hat to and thank you very much is Robert Novak. He's an extraordinary guy, extraordinary talent. So you've been working hand in glove with Rob?
Yeah, exactly. Working with Rob and, sort of working through any issues we've had in our system and trying to connect with the split chain and making sure that all connects right. And then sort of handling the conversations between your Zoocoin dev team being Rob and Zutopia. So it's been interesting. There's obviously a lot of people involved in the process, and it's been good to sort of have oversight of everything and have the help of everyone. We've got Phil in the background. We've got the Flux team. So yeah, bringing everyone together and really sort of making the project work. It's been interesting. It's big job, and as you said, night shift at the moment doing the international stuff. So I got up at midday today, and I'll probably go to bed at about 4 or 5 in the morning tonight just to make sure everything goes well. But yeah, it's been good.
Well, look, I wasn't going to do much. I'll just do a quick recap because since the launch of Zutopia as a soft launch, we've had thousands of people come on board who've got no idea as to the journey going back effectively to April of 2018, Riley. But I'm not going to go back that far. There's plenty of It's Zutime videos there, etc. But I think what I will do is that it was a lot of criticism that we took in the early days because, and we had put and invested a lot of money. Once we knew the success of Zoo Coins itself and the wallet, which is an unbelievable and incredible software product. And I'm not going to go into the back end about the split chain and so forth, how that came about, but it's been absolutely working sensational for the last couple of years. We haven't lost a single coin from anybody, and that's the first thing that happens. You know, the moment someone loses a coin, Endres is a scam and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
But the design of that architecture has played a crucial role in the way in which the API links between Zutopia and Zoocoin Wallet. But for those that are new, welcome on board. And I would just say this, that yes, there have been many exchanges and we had many contracts and lots of money, which you handled most of those, Riley.
Yeah.
One that comes to mind quickly is Bitrix, which was significant investments. And the idea was always to try and list on those exchanges. Now, as time evolved, and it's still happening, by the way, there's centralised exchanges that have had a lot of frauds and a lot of scams committed, internal, external, and the on and off ramps, that is getting your money on and off, and all the way the coins work, was very worrying for me. I haven't spent 25 years of my life, and nearly that was cut short back in October, by the way, but to see that you get to this point, you've got significant value in coins, you've got significant potential trading, and then you lose them because of some third parties based out of Mauritius or, Liechtenstein or wherever those entities were. So, Riley, we made that call to say, let's see how we can build from ground up an exchange that's never been done before, which is this peer-to-peer marketplace. What's the critical two elements to that have now satisfied, given the success of the testing that we've been doing?
So the marketplace has really been an interesting one, and there's a gravitational pull from everyone in the market wanting to go to decentralized sort of exchanges, peer-to-peer exchanges, to sort of make sure that the issues that happened with the centralized exchanges don't occur and they don't lose all their money. So the main things we're providing is funds going directly from peer-to-peer via someone's own personal Stripe account. So that's a big thing. Stripe is helping us on the back end with this platform. When we do debit someone's card, we're using your Stripe account to debit their card, meaning the funds are coming directly to you. And the other thing is obviously the Zoocoin support, being able to transfer those coins instantly between users and have that verified by the split chain using Zutopia then to take the funds.
So a couple of the tricky bits to this, which people don't understand, it's not, whilst the interface, that's the app itself, is pretty well dumbed down in 4 colours, and the creating of orders is very dumbed down, there's still that complication because we're doing the transactions you just mentioned, both in terms of coin transfers and the way in which the money flows, is off exchange. I mean, that's because of the wonderful product Robert had built, which has been successful on the two-factor authentication, that is the time clocks that we run, and both sender and receiver know what they're doing. It's fair to say that not only within the Zoocoin wallet, but this mechanism gives guarantee certainty on the transfer of the coins. People can't lose them, even if they panic in the transaction.
Yeah, exactly. And the transactions are still going through the wallet. When you're transacting on Zutopia, you're still going through the Zoocoin's wallet to do that. So you're still getting that security of having your own wallet, and you're not sharing those credentials with Zutopia. You're just pasting in a transfer code to initiate that transfer.
And I think I'll get to the nitty gritty on some of the stuff in a minute, but a couple of things that came out of this was that we're still dumbing down the user interface, because my focus on the whole project has been, mass adoption, ease of getting a wallet, which those boxes all tick, making sure people can send and receive the coins. But even little things like still to come, Riley, you're working with Rob. One is the connection between the Zutime wallet, which will take away that fixed $100 pricing and put that into a real-time pricing, the API. Can you just sort of touch on a bit about the hard work you two are doing on that, or more importantly, Rob's really putting in a big effort?
Yeah. So that's an interesting one. So we had a few messages from people inquiring about, the fixed price showing on Zoocoins compared to Zutopia. So it's really important that we get that properly reflected into the Zoocoins wallet. But when we were going through that process of putting that API in, we really took the approach, well, Rob took the approach of, okay, should we be doing this for one purpose, or should this apply to other things that are going to evolve in Zoocoins? So I won't get into the nitty gritty of what he's done, but he's built it in a way that this is going to apply to digital assets and tokenization in the future. The way he transfers the value from Zutopia to show what you've sold your coins at, that'll in time help with tokenization. And then also we'll have that API at the top of the app that'll display the average price that Zoocoins is going for on the market. So yeah, it's a huge change, and I can't wait to see how Rob's gone with it.
And I think the other little thing that has always been in the back of our mind for many years was Zutime wallet. The copy and paste has created some interesting issues. Whilst we've had tens of thousands of transactions and it's successfully happening, you tend to get the one in so many millions that have problems because they don't know how to use their own phones for copy and paste. The pressure that's applied to the paste buttons and so on. But they're very rare when they happen, but it's still annoying. So I just thought I'd let everybody know that whilst we could have done that with Android some years ago to create a very simplistic replacement of the copy and paste into compressing all that code into a link that then you just press the confirm button. iPhone was a bit more difficult because they hadn't had those upgrades on the notification, which we've had a lot of issues with that, sorting that through in terms of Zutopia as well, by the way. But down the road, that'll change. We'll have an update on that. That'll come down to basically just a straight confirm, which will speed things up and make it a lot easier for the type of clients we have, because we have people all ages from 13, 14 all the way through to 87, 90 operating the system. So, and that's the mass marketing which I've talked about. Riley, with the let's delve a little bit now to touch on the Zutopia itself, where that's come from. You were actually the architect that pulled together the Stripe deal. That was a lot of work in terms of convincing them about the security of the transfers of the coins, operating in this crypto space, being different to other cryptos, the way in which people can easily get a wallet, easily get the Zutopia, not panic if they don't do a transaction, trying to come to grips with the creating of an order. That in itself was interesting because it's not like a normal stock exchange or any share trading platform or even crypto.
Yeah.
You've created a mechanism of wanting people to deal with each other directly. So you create whatever prices you like and you activate that. So for you, that was a difficult area in the testing in the early days with people running through that?
Yeah, going through learning how it all operates was obviously a learning curve for everyone, because it's totally different to, as you said, the existing mechanisms in the market. So yeah, getting everyone on board and showing them how it's done was interesting, but now we've sort of nailed down how that education needs to be shown, and through videos and email marketing and stuff like that, we're able to really relay to people exactly what each section does and how they are to create your orders and what that means for them.
And Riley, I think now looking at the way in which it's been operating at the back end, so we're sitting here chatting away, and the Zutopia app is bubbling behind the scenes 24/7. We literally wouldn't have a clue to the extent of what people are dealing with each other in that sense, because that's the nature of what we've created, that you can go in and out of the app anytime you like 24/7 and pick and choose the way in which you want to buy or sell, or the amounts, or and one of those things that came up, which you guys have solved, is the rather than full orders, people can do dealing in the way in which they operate for partial orders. That was also another big development in the testing.
Yeah. So that came, midway through us sort of producing Zutopia. We decided to add in the option to do partial fulfillment. So, you post a listing of $100 to buy $100 of coins, and then someone can fulfill that from your minimum value. So you may have $50, so someone can do two $50 orders on your $100 listing. So that partial fulfillment really just enables you to be in the market for longer, get more people attracted to your listing because they're wanting to sort of sell a certain amount. They might have an amount in mind that they want to get rid of or that they want to purchase. So having that partial fulfillment there just gives flexibility to everyone, really.
And one of the testing too, Riley, which is you might go through in a minute some of the upgrades that are still to come. There's a lot to be done.
Yeah.
But, we want to remove the clutter. So there's going to be timing mechanisms as to how long orders can stay on, how they'll be automated and cut off. Can you just sort of delve into that a little bit, what you guys have decided?
Yeah, so the first step of that, obviously, if you're on the marketplace, you understand that we do have a lot of listings there. There's a lot of people in there trying to buy and sell coins. So to declutter that, we've decided to do a few different things. But the first thing we're going to action is what's called an activity status timer. So basically, you've got your activity status currently, which disconnects you if you fail to make a trade. Then you have to come back in. What we're bringing in now, as well as that, is going to be a 3-hour window. So what you'll do is you'll post a listing, you'll go active, then your listings in your account will remain in that active mode for 3 hours, as long as you don't miss a listing or miss a transaction. And then at the end of that 3 hours, if you're still available, you're still awake, you can go back in and click renew, and it'll renew it up to that 3 hours again. So it's really just to ensure when people go to bed, their listings aren't staying active, because obviously I can't action your listing if you're not going to be available. So yeah, that's the first step to managing that clutter issue.
And I think everybody, the perspective here is that whilst we've had 1,600 odd, I think that's right, new accounts, Riley.
Yeah.
I think and they've come out of nowhere. I wouldn't have a clue where they've come from, because we're not promoting for good reason anything at the moment.
Yeah.
But I think the reality is the entire team is focused, and Rob's at the forefront of this. Our mindset, everybody, hasn't changed since the earlier It's Zutimes that I've been pushing, that because of the flexibility and the capability of getting people into this crypto space through Zoocoins and our wallet, that we will be and are talking in the millions of people, which means that we don't want millions of problems or millions of listings or delays on search engine capabilities and all the rest of it. It's got to be robust, it's got to be instant, and it's got to be engaging for everybody, that you're either selling or buying, and you're compelled to do it. You just can't help yourself but doing more and more transactions. So the basis of the whole team is about millions of things that will be available, whether it's Zoocoins or hybrids of Zoocoins, the tokenization that Riley touched on, that others can build and put on, not necessarily us, different product lines. And more importantly, that the database is capable through the scalability, because remember, we're pushing it through split chain to give us accuracy and 100% certainty that people can't get scammed with the nature of how many coins they've got or they haven't got. So I might, in that light, given that we're all on the page about gearing this up for massive adoption and the boxes that we've ticked, Riley, some of the things that even you've had some great work with Rob recently, even just the issues about notifications and the way in which we ping the two systems, you might touch on that's also have to be refined, because if you've got 10 million people and you're pinging every 5 seconds, that's a lot of pings and a lot of load on the databases.
Yeah, exactly. So this stage we're trying to go slow and steady, organic growth, so that we don't overload the system. We can make sure that the system's working at scale as we slowly grow. So yeah, as you mentioned, the API calls through to other systems that we use. We're in the process of refining those, bringing those back to what's really necessary to check the transaction as it progresses. So that's one of the major things. And if we had have onboarded 1 million members this month, that would have been an interesting challenge, potentially detrimental to Zutopia if we had have overloaded it without doing those fixes first. So I think it's perfect timing now with the amount of people we have on board to really refine what we're doing. We've got updates coming, and really just keep refining to make sure we are ready to scale. And that's when we can start thinking about next steps. But yeah, those next updates are the important ones.
So, Riley, I think that leads me into now sort of a here and now update, because I must say, when it was launched on the 9th, and I have expectations I'm a long-term player with everything I do, whether it's court cases or where we want to see Zoocoins and Zutopia. And again, if you go back to the old Zutimes, everybody, I haven't changed my opinion one iota in terms of how I see our long-term proposition of Zoocoin value against Bitcoin. I'm comparing apples with apples. It's a personal opinion, but I've always said that given that we say it's a better system, which we believe it is, better accessibility globally, and all the wonderful features of scalability and what we can add to the product that Bitcoin cannot do, Ethereum can't do. There's issues with Solana and so on and Litecoin. There's no reason in the world at all that, given that perfect storm, and especially now the way this crypto market is absolutely on fire because of the changes in the US administration and where things are happening in that space. There's, I still don't see anything that says that we shouldn't be at 20% of the value of a Bitcoin, however long that takes, but that's certainly my personal proposition, given where I've seen the coins and what we're doing. But I must say, though, when it was launched on the 9th, my expectations of a successful Zutopia were very low. I honestly believed that we would have minimal transactional turnover, mainly because of the interface functionality hurdles that needed to be overcome with such a unique product. Nothing to do with the core of Zoocoins and the coins and such, but you probably recall, Riley, I was absolutely gobsmacked when that turnover started, that people were successfully transacting as envisaged, with each other, with money. You haven't lost a coin, you haven't lost any money, and that's a wonderful, wonderful accolade and tick for the entire team. So you do recall, the expectations were very low.
Yeah, I remember quite well. You were blown away when I gave you the first 250,000 for you. You're like, what's going on here? So yeah, it was awesome.
So everybody, if you look at that foundation, and we can now talk, here we are on the 6th of February, and where we're going. But certainly, Riley, you might recap, because I have done everybody a bit of a historical comparison market capitalization, which you'll get an email on that today from the team. It'll be on the website as well. And it's a very simplistic table that identifies key critical milestone points of Bitcoin's life, in its early life, from the date of when Satoshi dropped that white paper bombshell, which was on the 3rd of January 2009, because that's going to be in the context of the big question that comes up, Riley, is all about, the price. It's that some people selling at $1 or less, and so on. Price has never been a concern in this early soft launch stage. It's about the functionality and the processing capability, the interface, and it'll take care of itself as the numbers come on board with demand, is what we've seen. But Riley, can you just give us a little bit of a recap for everybody as of today, what the volumes have been and how that looks in terms of the success of the transactions?
Yeah, definitely. So we've been live for a bit over 8 weeks now. So we've had 1,600 accounts live on Zutopia, and quite a few of those we could see had never held Zoocoins based on what notifications we're getting from the split chain. And then $1.3 million of transactions and around 1.3 million coins have been transacted. It works out to an average coin price since the 9th of December, about 98 cents. So that's where we're at the moment, and that's with a 77% success rate on transactions. Obviously, we're going to have user error there at some points. But yeah, that's where we're at the moment, which I think is huge for the first 8 weeks of the project.
Yeah, so everybody, I just wanted to put that pricing in context. I mean, having said that, there's been variations on the Zutime prices. I think some have been ridiculous. We had some small volumes at as high as hundreds of dollars or even 1,000, and we've had low prices, 35, 40 cents. And then it bumps itself around. It can go $2.55, $10, and that's a settling of people getting used to the system and what they're doing. But I would make the point, everybody, that in the 6-year-odd journey of Zutcoins and the development and split chain, there's been a number of marketing strategies that I've put in play that reflect upon what you're seeing with 1.3 million. So 1.3 million Zutcoins have changed hands now, albeit they're at the lower prices. But don't stress yourself about the price, because what I'm excited about is that the vast majority of those coins have come from the free drops that we did with Zukaz way back at the very beginning of this journey. Now, you must remember, if you're a young person out there that's picked up 10 or 20,000 coins hunting and collecting, you're satisfying what I needed to see is the success of the AR, because the AR is a crucial component as we lead into mass marketing not in the not too distant future. And that success is now driven that those very same people, generally young people, Riley, which you've seen on the back end, are trading out their coins because they're taking a profit. Now, it's an absolute delight for me, because it means that they've got them for nothing. They're starting to trade them out, and they're taking advantage of those traders. Now, there's always two sides to the coin. If they take that position, then the document that I produced for everybody to see is that there is always that question, if I only got in early, as to what happened with Bitcoin. Now, there's a couple of interesting stats when you look back, because I say that whilst they are taking a profit because they got them for nothing and they've been in there for a while, the advantage is to those that are prepared to take them up for that price that we're seeing on the trading rally. Now, they're accumulating them. These people are accumulating coins. I can tell you now, you lose your Zutcoin. When I say lose, you trade your Zutcoin and you sell it, it doesn't come back. You don't get another one. Now, you know, my model has been that the big players will come in due course. That they take a long time to get themselves wound up about a product. What I like is that if 1 million or 10 million people come on board and they buy 1 or 10 or 50 coins, their mindset is to accumulate, not to sell. That takes the demand pressure onto those that have got coins that want to get out early. Now, I'm not saying, Riley, they're stupid for selling. That's, everybody has a threshold.
Yeah.
And for those that have bought at higher prices, let me just reflect on that. I still say, if you're lucky enough to get them at $100, then God be with you, because that is also cheap. How do I know that? When you get this update, you'll see, for example, I tested a couple of the items on Bitcoin, Riley, on the pricing on its journey since Satoshi.
Yeah.
For example, it took 2 years and 6 months, think about it, 2 years and 6 months, for Bitcoin's total capitalization, that's the number of Bitcoins in supply, multiplied by the current pricing at that time, to reach $100 million capitalization. Now, Riley and my team have achieved that in 59 days.
I'd say it's a pretty good indicator.
Well, I'm not giving any financial advice or anything, because, I mean, I said at the beginning of this thing many, many years ago, and I'll say it again, that crypto's a high-risk area and generally should go in there and the thinking going to blow up your ass.
Yep.
Now, the speculators have come in and the dust has settled. I mean, recently, post my heart attack, I'd go and see that, you know, the Trump coin has gone worth $8 or $10 billion. They've got 200 million of those things issued, and I still can't see why you'd buy one. There's no utility, there's nothing. It's just pure speculation and driven by greed. Now, that may or may not be a good thing, Riley, but certainly that's a meme coin, which is those coins that have no value proposition for what we see in the long term, what I've played this since day dot.
Yeah.
You know, build a platform, create the Zutopia environment, our own exchange. We're only hosting it, really. so people can come in and add their own products and trade a whole range of things that create value for everybody, not just speculating on some picture of fight, fight, fight. So that's an example of the time essence of where we're at. 59 days with 100 million coins in supply, capped at $98 million in 59 days. Now, another interesting stat, I've got a few of them here, and you'll see these later, guys, but it's worth mentioning because it's about patience. And again, everybody has a threshold of where they want to sell or buy, but don't miss out. If you've got them for free, even if you hang on to 10, because if you bought 10 Bitcoins, it took 1 year and 9 months for Bitcoin to reach a price of 6 cents. 6 cents. It took 2 years and 1 month to get to $1. Now, if you were smart enough, none of us were smart enough at the time, Riley. I mean, it was never going to, you couldn't if you tried, but history always repeats itself. There's always another level of the next players that come in that drive things. Now, 2 years and 1 month to get to $1. If you've had 10 Bitcoin and just threw them in the drawer and forgot about them, that's $155,000 Australian per Bitcoin today. So for 10 Bitcoin, for $10, you'd be sitting on 1.5 million Australian dollars. Now, the question is, at what part of this game do you play? Have you sold them at 10, like the poor guy that sold us? I've got a milestone there when he sold, the coins in relation to buying 2 pizzas. Lost 5,000 coins for 2 pizzas. So it's all relative, everybody. We're in a soft launch. A soft launch is what we're achieving successfully is in turnover. There's a settling of price because people are getting in and out what they want at this level, and that'll notch itself up. If Riley and the team come out and say we're ready with international, which they're testing now and in the next couple of weeks we'll know, and they want to unleash me to get another million or 10 million on the system and Robert's happy with that, then you do the maths. 10 million people buying 10 coins is 100 million coins taken out of supply. You don't have to be Einstein to work that out. I did a quantitative Zutime on this, which is worth people going back to look back 3 or 4 years ago. So you can have a look at that formula that talks exactly what I'm on about. The next one, of course, is interesting, is that it took 4 years and 10 months to get to $1,000. Now, $1,000 sounds a lot, but let me tell you, I'd take $1,000 if I could go back in history and buy it at $1,000 back then. So it's price relative at the time and how you see yourself in this game long term, which is what we're doing. So, Riley, just give another little quick session there now on, as of today, what you're actually doing as we get closer and closer to being in a position to now give the same opportunities internationally, which then brings in our international clients.
Yeah, so it's been an interesting couple of weeks testing the international platform. We enabled international purchasing a while back, and now we're doing international selling. We're going to be opening up to quite a few countries. We've got the US in there, which is going to be a big market. The EU as well will be big. So what we're doing now is going through that testing process, making sure that the settlements in the local currency are working as we expect, which so far they are. Deductions from the bank accounts are working as we expected. Fee calculation, there is different fees on international transfers. So if you and the seller in the same country, then obviously that's going to be a domestic fee. But when we're talking cross-border, so a US person selling to an Australian or someone in the EU, there is going to be that international fee. So we just need to make sure that that's being correctly calculated on the transaction, which is going great so far. We've identified minor issues that were fixed on day one. But yeah, it's been interesting. Once we've got this down pat and done, which, by the way, if there's any international people that would like to jump on and do some testing, you can shoot us an email. We'll be happy to get you in there. But yeah, once that's done, that's when we can look to move forward to the next step, which would be multi-currency and enabling additional currencies within the app. We don't know when that would go live in particular, but that will be the natural next step after we enable international sellers. Currently, you would settle into your into your currency, but the front end will show you the Australian dollar price. So those are the two milestones we've got coming up.
And again, everybody, that's why I say it doesn't matter what price you pick them up, or from free through to $100. $100 is cheap. If you had $100 Bitcoin, you'd be laughing as much as you would if you paid $1,000 as you would be $10. So it's a couple of opportunities there. One is sit tight, watch what we're doing with the mass marketing, which is all reflective in this Zutopia. And by the way, one of the misconceptions about Zutopia, it's not a closed marketplace just for Zoocoin people, as in the current holders. That's so far wrong that it's an open place for anybody. Anybody that you refer globally can participate, especially with the coming of the international transactions. It is a global exchange in its own right, or a trading market that's available 24/7. So we hope one day that as hosts of that platform, don't we, Riley, that billions of dollars is turned over globally around the world through that exchange mechanism, because there's security, there's certainty, there's payment of money, and the element of fraud and risk is marginalised. I mean, 2 days ago, Riley, you brought to my attention, but Coinbase is subject to a report that $300 million has been lost in coins and money of their coin holders. Now, that's because of the systems they're running, the custodialship of coins. That's because fraudulent parties can come in and superimpose themselves pretending to be Coinbase, because you're giving login access to coins held by them. You don't have that issue with Zutopia. Either you're going to deal directly with someone on a coin to transfer and get the money. And I think we didn't mention, but even on the pre-authorization process, Riley, how you've created a mechanism there to stop any money unless the transactions are complete.
Yeah. So the pre-authorization happens when you put an offer in, but that deduction of funds doesn't get fully authorized till we know that you've received your coins. So that all happens within a minute process, but we do make sure that we check those coins are definitely in your wallet. The split chain has told us they're there before anyone loses funds. And, we had an example the other day where someone called up and they were worried that they might have lost their funds because their bank still had a negative balance on there. But during that phone call, the funds were returned, because as soon as we cancel that pre-auth, once we've done that check, those funds are returned back to your bank account. So there's no real issues there for anyone. You just need to check a minute later and see if those funds are back in, if you do happen to have a failed transaction.
And when Riley says it's not Riley checking a million accounts, everybody, it's an automated part of the process. So the system will check and make sure. It's designed specifically for that. And that's why I do get excited about the time it's taken us to perfect, through Robert, the core engine of the Zoocoin split chain protocol. Without that, none of this would be possible. And it's that protocol that gives... Now, and by the way, there's nothing to stop anybody from replicating Zutopia and creating their own marketplaces any place in the world, because it all uses the same API connections. We're just the first cab off the rank, and I would encourage people, institutions, to do that. If you're going to create a brand new token and it becomes compliant in the jurisdiction you're in, whether it's through regulations in the US or Australia, you can control that particular marketplace replicating Zutopia, and suddenly you are the gurus in a particular tokenization aspect, whether it be a smart contract that relates to some mining royalty, or whether it relates to, which is a live example here, is Riley and Matthew working on the Turfstar project, which is digitization of racehorses, which will be a game changer in that industry. So there's enormous amount of opportunity once the base is complete. And that base is getting stronger and stronger every day. And it gives me the opportunity to say, yeah, we're now in box seat to allow 10, 20, 100. I mean, there's no reason there can't be 1 billion people on this thing, Riley. It's
100%.
The network's there, and you can interact offline or online or whatever you want to do. One of the things that did come up, Riley, which you should allude to, is that people dealing with each other and sleepyheads on the other end, or somebody doesn't engage on the transfer because you're up and about. But you have got a identification of so-called good traders and bad traders coming. How's that going to operate?
Yeah, so that'll be a really interesting development, and I can't wait to see it in the app. It's going to be a ranking system based on your performance within the app. So how many transactions have been successful compared to failed? How often do you paste the code into the app quite quickly, and stuff like that. There'll be lots of measures that will affect your rating, and you can recover from a bad rating as well. So just because you go down doesn't mean you can't come back up, and you sort of start in the neutral area. So that's going to enable the general public to look at a profile and go, hey, this is someone I want to trade with. They've got like a 98% score. Let's trade with them. They're often really good. And then you might see someone with a really bad score of 5% go, oh, I'm going to stay away from them. It looks like all their transactions fail. So that's going to be a reputation system that'll really help identify who to trade with and who not to trade with. And there's other mechanisms we will have in place as well with people that are failing to trade. There'll be a retry mechanism that we are going to implement in the future, where if you do miss a trade, you can then go back and retry that trade if the other party still wants to do it. So there'll be quite a few things there coming in to build reputation and make this system easier to communicate with each other.
Well, I guess in summary there, Riley, we're 59 days in, excited about the turnover and successful transactions that you're monitoring. The volumes are picking up. Whether people sell low, that's a matter for them. They just don't get to enjoy the journey when they can't whinge when they wake up one day and it's at a Bitcoin price or $1,000. That's just the pizza bad luck scenario. But certainly, as of today, we're pushing hard on the international. Everybody, that's crucial. We'll get that right. So we'll know a bit more in the next couple of weeks. Riley and his team working around the clock on that. And then with that, of course, that gives the comfort to say, right, we can now rapidly accelerate the volumes of new people coming in for wallets and wanting to buy coins. As I said, not interested or worried about those that are talking big dollars. It's about large volumes of wallets that people want to sit tight, realize what Bitcoin did, and 10 coins becomes as valuable at whether you purchase them at $100 or $1,000 or even $10,000, because how exciting would that have been to have 10 tucked away in Bitcoin? I mean, I know El Salvador gets excited when they buy 2 Bitcoin once a day. So that's putting that in perspective in terms of where we're at and how we see it. But Riley, the last thing I'll close on is it's not like we've been sitting on our hands either in preparation for the marketing. You might take your Zutopia hat off, your Zutcoin hat off, and just talk about the hard work behind the scenes on the AR and the white labeling of that, and how important that's going to be for global distribution.
Yeah, so augmented reality is something that we've been working on for a few years now, and we've done, we started with Zukaz, and then we moved to a white labeled solution, which is Xari, basically building apps for companies that want to integrate customer loyalty, brand loyalty, and augmented reality experiences into their existing apps, or creating new apps to drive that loyalty to their brand. So that's going to become instrumental, obviously, to our continued marketing. It's a huge space. It's something that all marketing companies are currently looking into, augmented reality and mixed reality and those type of things. So we were ahead of the curve there when we sort of started looking at that in 2018. So it's been a journey with that. We've had successful sort of apps built with different clients around the world, which has been great. And that's going to become instrumental to the Zutcoin sort of marketing launch and Zutopia in the future, with plans that Al has, and you plan big, that's for sure. So it'll be interesting to see what the augmented reality strategy is like. But yeah, I can't wait. I'm excited for it. It's been a very big journey getting that side of things, the augmented reality, up to scratch, and yeah, it's going to be awesome to bring it into the Zoocoins world.
And I think everybody, it should be also congratulations to that team. As I said, we're going to rely on that for distribution and analytics around the world. It'll give us 24 hours, 7 days a week capacity to drop some free coins, allow those participants to come in with wallets instantly, engage with Zutopia, buying coins from anywhere in the world, particularly the client bases that we've got through India and South America, North America, and so on. That's very, very important. But it's not me or Riley sitting back waffling on about how good that is. I would say with a very proud look at this now. And it's not me that's created it, by the way, but certainly the team has won the Australian Innovation of the Year award for the product 2024. They have got second the Silver Award for Australia Designs. And you guys have now pulled off the World Award Silver across every jurisdiction in the world for the nature of the designs in that particular AR product. So those accolades are coming in from third parties. That gives us that's been a massive 2 to 3 year build behind the scenes, and we will get the benefits of that, all of us, as in Zoocoins, because the hunting and collecting has never gone away, and that'll lead into all sorts of merchant scenarios, product lines, as we've talked about, and be able to on-sell that if you wish, and you could put that through to Zutopia as an example. So our vision is, we push hard. We're very happy. I'm thrilled. I can't believe the successful transactions, and we do get, there are the ones that come in and out that the team's got to sit down and narrow why didn't that work? Where was the point of which that failed? Because that's crucial. You might only have one. I think you had one critical one there at one stage, Riley, which you identified, and the team got onto pretty quick. That cost a few dollars because it wasn't because of their system. It was because of the way the banks interacted at that time, with the way in which they weren't approving transactions at their end and trying to double up. So we've solved those problems, and even crooks trying to get into the system. We've had some people trying to scam people. That's failed because they've got to deal one-on-one. They don't realise it's not a hacking job into a centralised body. To try and hack everybody's phone, you'd have to be absolutely brain dead. If you let anybody in, you don't want anybody into your phone for a start, and you shouldn't be communicating with anybody other than through the main network that says, yes, you can do a transaction or you get paid. So have you got anything to add with that, Riley? I just think, I know you're getting ready to do the next shift now, so
I think we covered off on everything. I'm really excited to see where we go with this international stuff and a few other things we've got going on. It's an exciting journey ahead. But yeah, I think that covers off everything we're going to discuss today.
Fantastic, mate. Well, again, everybody, to all of the I take my hat off to all those with free coins from 6 years ago. You're trading your way out. I understand the short-term scenario that you're in, whether you're looking to, particularly got a lot of young traders there from university days, as I understand it, Riley, young blokes and girls coming in and out.
Yeah.
But, in this current environment, cost of living, and you take the short-term option, that's fantastic. But for those long-term players that take a look at the history of Bitcoin, what I've just described and what you'll see in an email, just sit tight. Don't worry about the Zutopia app too much at this stage unless you're trading and you're gobbling up some nice cheap ones. Good luck to you, fantastic. But at any stage you should always sit back and say, listen, I got 10 of those. 10 aren't going to be a game breaker to your life in the short term, but in the long term, you may find that suddenly Zoocoins is hunting down and telling the world that jump off Bitcoin, because it's got all these other inherent issues. The miners are making a few dollars now, but what happens when the Bitcoin mining number of coins slow down and don't become available, what happens with the hydro plants and electricity bills that are going through the roof. The good old humble split chain cached node network runs off basically transactions through your phone, and we're environmentally sound and green, all those wonderful things. We're not a drain on society with electricity, etc. But the outcome is absolutely brilliant. So, well, Riley, thank you very much. I'm going to close there. Certainly, everybody, international players, contact Riley. Support at Zutopia.com is the best one, Riley.
Yeah, that'll be perfect.
The good thing about Riley is he's generous enough to give his time to speak to people if they've got issues directly, and that's probably the best way you solve problems, Riley. I had a funny one today, and we'll get to the bottom of that. It's really a user experience on the way the paste button was working, so I need to sort of get ahead on that.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah, and you've had that one before.
Yeah, definitely.
So, contact Riley. Phil's there. Phil's doing a marvellous job. And we've got, as you may recall, everybody, Peter Allen is sensational with support at zoocoins.com. Although the queries on Zoocoins has absolutely gone through, it's negligible because the way people are now operating the wallet. And again, people, please back up wallets. It's not hard. Check the latest version in the Zoocoin wallet, 192. There is a massive upgrade coming in the Zoocoin wallet very, very soon. It's designed to satisfy Zutopia's multi-currency and live feed, but more importantly, it's got some secret ingredients in there that's going to get ready for what I'm excited about down the road for tokenization and smart asset contracts and how that's going to operate. So I won't talk about that now, but thank you, everybody. Been an absolute crackerjack to be actually sitting here on the 6th of February. I'm pretty happy to be around to see this happening. So I've just got to go continue with some rehab, a couple more tablets, and you blokes can't get rid of me yet. So, Riley, but the great news is, everybody, there's a huge support team that if Al drops off the perch, the rest of the little birds come in and we've got no issue. So thank you very much. Have a good evening, everybody. Contact everybody. We'll get some more updates. Thank you, Riley.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Al.
Bye.
Bye.